You are now listening to the Friends of Rugby podcast. Relax your anus. Balls. Thick thighs. Camille Shat. Where's his neck? Eddie Jones. You're fucked, mate.
And we are recording.
We're
Hello,
nice
friends.
now.
Hello,
Welcome to the Friends of Rugby,
where we make friends
the
with
greatest,
20-minute Reds
most amazing rugby show on planet Earth.
since another one. So how are you feeling about our podcast? You think we're doing good?
I think we're doing good.
Yeah,
I think we're doing. What about
bringing
you?
the people what they need to hear.
My main struggle with the podcast is making sure that you show up to the podcast.
Hey.
Get you to the podcast.
I've got a fun fact for you, which I realized the other day, right? Which
Yeah.
might affect my availability. Did you know, since we've started doing this, which
Yeah.
has been over a year,
Yeah.
Wales have never won a game? During the time we've done that, doesn't that feel strange to say?
There's no way.
That's true. Think about it. We've been doing this a year. Wales haven't won in over a year. I think it's been 18 months.
Ah,
Isn't that crazy?
are we the curse?
No, because they've been fucking losing longer than we've been doing this.
Well, this is the last episode of the Friends of
Well,
Rugby.
so,
Wow.
next time you're like,
I
get
had
out
no
of bed.
idea.
Yeah, right? Just realized that the other day.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's nuts.
it is. Well, I think we beat the Queensland Reds in that time, but obviously that doesn't count.
Do you know what's going on in the summer tours? We're going to Japan, right?
Going to Japan. Yeah.
there you go.
It's kind of a big game now.
That is going to be a big game.
Yeah, but both teams, because Japan aren't exactly, the Brighton Miracles, it's a dot in the horizon behind us now, isn't it? So long are the days gone where we thought Japan were a good team. They've really got to prove themselves again.
That is a good point. You got two teams that I say are relatively similar situations.
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah.
Really needing a win here.
And it's like superlative, isn't it? Like they're
Yeah.
both desperate for a win. Yeah.
I think Eddie Jones is under a lot less pressure.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think they'll fire him. I think he can lose games forever.
Yeah, maybe.
And just the mentality behind him, he's.
I used to live and work in Japan for 2 years. They don't fire people.
No.
They don't. You're a worker for life.
Mm-hmm.
They might move him off to a basement to do paperwork if he gets
shows
that bad.
up every day early.
Yeah. That's all they
That's
care
it.
about. That's all they care about. Yeah.
He stays until the boss leaves.
Yeah.
So it's that's going to be what should have been like a fun, get together, like a fun little trip, a nice little exciting
And
tour
we
for
could have
the
even
boys.
afforded to lose one.
It's kind of a do or die. There's a lot riding on that.
Yeah, there is for both teams. It's going to be a big tour. But you know what? It's like I said, we kept doing these crazy summer tours. We'd go and play double New Zealand or something.
Mm-hmm.
And Scotland were having their fun development tours. Like, why weren't we doing that when we were in a low ebb, We could have been building confidence and caps. But no, we had to go tour Australia, who we were expected to beat at the time. Whatever.
How are you doing? You okay? You're good?
Fine.
Any kind of news for the people?
Rugby news?
Yeah.
No? Well, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about the rugby news.
What do you want to get into first?
Well, I wrote a Six Nations team of the tournament, and then you said, I'll just react to it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read you my Six Nations team of the tournament, and you're going to react to
If
it.
you would have told me last night, I need time to think about this.
Why?
Because I want to make the right decision.
So you can choose Teddy Thomas as the lock of the tournament again?
Probably would have.
He wasn't bad, actually.
Yeah, because they would be guys that I would want to choose, but then I'd
Yeah.
start looking at stats of things. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. There's never an easy answer. It's such
No.
a cliched thing to say, but
So let's go with let's see what you got here.
you're going to have to help me as well, because I still don't know what a loose header and tight head prop is and what the
You
difference
better
is.
have the right one there.
I do. I checked it. Yeah. Number 1,
Yeah.
Pierre Schumann of Scotland. Loose head.
As a loose head,
As a loose head. Yeah. What do you think about that?
I would give that. Who was the loose head for France? I was playing.
Was it Awini Antonio? Is he the loose
No,
head?
that's a tight head.
Cyril Bay. Actually, he didn't play a lot, did he?
I swear, I would have went with the France boy. But that's a pretty good one. What do you got for hooker?
Luke Cowan-Dickie.
Ugh. What are you doing? This is why we didn't. No.
Why not? Discuss. You can't just Okay, I was gonna put Motherfucker Jones
or Dan
or
Sheehan.
Dan Sheehan, who was
yeah.
also
Those
excellent.
two had fucking really good.
They did.
What about even what's this Cherry Boy from Scotland? I thought he had a
He
pretty
actually
good tournament.
pretty good. He did. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did. So I'm gonna go through the people I nearly put
Yeah.
while my dog breaks down the door. Motherfucker Jones, after the headbutt, no, dirty, very
It's
good.
dirty, but
It is dirty.
he was fucking fantastic.
He was fucking good, but fuck him. That was dirty. I don't like it. It's it was like old school dirty as well. You know, headbutting someone on the floor. Dan Sheehan honestly was very, very close, and he didn't really do anything wrong. I just thought Cowan Dickey in an England world where they've got reasonable depth at hooker, in a world where we kind of forgot about him a bit. Maybe if you're English, you hadn't forgot about him, but I had. He just came back and he was doing everything right. He was doing, doing all the basics right, but he was powerful in his carries as well. He was like vintage Cowan Dickey when Exeter Chiefs were conquering Europe. You know, I got those vibes.
What did you got for tight head? Number 2.
Will Stewart, also of England.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree with that.
I think actually he was also named by the Six Nations as
He was like a silent killer
He was.
in the Six Nations.
Yeah. He was.
He didn't like particularly stand out in every game, but he was good in every game. Very solid. Very. I think he had every game he played in.
Yeah.
He had a good performance.
It wasn't exactly a tournament
Like
for tight heads either, was it?
Pat on the back for him. Kind of game.
There wasn't any absolutely dominant tight head displays. I thought the scrum was pretty on parity in most of the games. There was some lopsided stuff, but Will Stewart, it's cliche, he was good around the park as well. Like he hit.
He's good around the
He
park.
was good around, but he was actually good around
He's
the park.
just good around the park.
He was actually good around the park. Itoje.
Itoje, yes.
That has to be the name.
Do you know he's played 30 consecutive Six Nations games?
Yeah.
80 minutes pop.
Not surprised. Yeah. And fair play to him for not getting injured as well.
Yeah.
And the amount of turnovers he has.
Yeah, I think this captaincy role really brought the best out of him.
It did. I was surprised because
he's just a nuisance.
He's a complete prick in the best possible way. And then you see him off the field and he seems like such a nice guy. And he obviously suits the captaincy. I didn't think he had that kind of angry, shouty leadership, but he's doing something right.
Yeah.
Who did England lose to again? Ireland, right? Yeah, I don't think he had a bad game at all.
No.
I don't think he had a bad game. I don't think he had a bad minute in the tournament. He was really good.
He's back, baby.
He's so back. And I think maybe Lions tour captain now.
Ooh, it could be. Could be.
We'll see.
We'll talk about that too.
We will. Michael Guillard for France.
Yes.
It's kind of part of the whole sexy new France big ass forwards vibe, I don't know what else to say. Like, I must admit, I don't know as much about the French guys, but I was just super impressed with him, everything he did. Every French forward seemed to carry well, but he has a bit of twinkle toes. He's got Falatau vibes, He
Every
twinkles
French
around.
forward was good.
They were. Yeah, they were.
They all good.
I could have honestly put a French 15 here, and I wouldn't have felt too bad about it.
What do you got in your back 3 there?
This is a bit more left field. So I did go with Tyke Byrne.
Ooh.
Maybe it's a legacy pick, but he
Sounds
wasn't
like a
as
legacy
good.
pick.
He wasn't as good as he normally is, but he still does everything. I don't know how to justify it more than that, really. I don't know how to maybe it is a bit of a legacy pick. I just love Tyke Byrne. He still has game-changing moments, not in the way that he kind of rips the momentum from a game, but I just like him.
I would have went with Francois Crowe there.
Yeah. I think there was a slight don't pick all French people bias going on subconsciously, so
That's what
I should have shut that up, but no, I'm sticking with Tyke Byrne. And at 7, I went for the only Welsh guy in my team, Jack Morgan.
Yes.
I say this a lot, don't I? It's hard to be
No
recognised.
one's going to argue with that.
You could though. You could argue with it because I think Ben Earl was very good. I think Van der Fleer was very good. Jamie Ritchie was very good. I think Jack Morgan is good in a bad team, and that's really hard to do. He's the Parise of this generation. He's the new Sergio Parise, and fuck, that hurts to say that.
There's a lot of more games to lose in the future.
Fucking right there is.
What do you got for 8-man?
Jack Conan. Even though he didn't even play every minute, he's better than Doris, actually.
That's arguable.
He's not as good a leader, but if you look at statistically, like Kalen Doris's involvements per minute are off the fucking charts. But Jack Conan, man, like fucking hell, he's good. Like he reminds me of Quagga Smith, just a game changer.
I probably would have went with Gregory Aldrit.
Yeah, that would have been
another French guy.
That would have been the basic choice. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, Gregory Aldrit was class, and he is a proper leader as well.
Who was the Italian 8? Because I thought he was pretty decent too.
Was it Canone or is he a lock? I don't know. Don't ask me Italian names. You're gonna make me look an idiot. I know. Yeah, well, at least you did that. You made me look like less of an idiot now.
Yeah, don't worry. You can count on me.
But yeah, I went with
Lorenzo Canone.
Canone, it was Canone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lorenzo Canone.
Yeah, he was good actually.
Okay, so what do you got for your number 9? Ooh.
Maxime Lucu.
Okay, yeah, because he kind of had a big step up.
No,
he had some big shoes to fill.
And he
filled
them with fucking gold.
Yep.
He did. Yeah, it was weird because he almost made France look better than DuPont does. Because DuPont kind of just does his own thing and everyone just follows him. Lucu played a game plan and he allowed the French backs to express themselves.
I think that was a good call.
It was.
It's almost like France got better.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say politely, you know? They did get better. They had more structure, right?
It was like kind of there's something going on there. There was something kind of exposing with DuPont leading.
Yeah. And it's not saying he's bad, but DuPont is like, he's a bit like Marcus Smith, right? Like you just let him do his thing. Lucu is a team player.
Yeah, it's almost like, is DuPont more of like a one-man team?
He is.
Is he not playing with the team enough?
Yeah, and he's become a self-fulfilling prophecy because everyone says he's the best player in the world. You expect him to just do his own thing.
Maybe that's putting pressure on him to do something.
Yeah.
Every game.
Instead of just playing a normal pass the ball out game.
I got to do something crazy.
Pass the ball from the deck a few times, right? Instead of picking it up.
He's a short guy, so he's got probably small man syndrome, so he's got to be extreme with everything he does. Like, when anyone...
Faf de Klerk vibes.
When anyone ever talks about Tom Cruise, and you know how he's like a fucking psycho. You're like on a plane with him. He's like, all right, this is awesome, man. He's like, you guys want to fucking jump out of this plane? I'll fucking do it. I'll do it. I'll jump right out of this fucking plane right now.
Yeah, like the guy at the party just wants to impress everyone by doing wild shit. Yeah.
So it's like, I just took a piss. I just took 9 pisses. Okay, Tom.
All right, Tom. Yeah.
Him and DuPont just trying to like outdo each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something there. There's something. Yeah, there was an eye-opening moment when DuPont left and Lucu took over. Yeah, that was something there. I wonder if more people are going to talk about that.
I think they will. But do you remember when DuPont was playing sevens? He missed the whole Six Nations, and France seemed to do less well without him.
Yeah,
because they didn't win. But they were just tired, weren't they? They were just sleepy.
Maybe they were playing for him since he got injured. Like, don't worry, we'll do. They love him so much. They're like, we'll do this for you. We'll win this game for you.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, who do you got at 10?
Finn Russell.
Finn, I think you could have went with. I think if I had to do this,
we could have gone with. He might not even be the best Finn in this tournament, but I went with him because Finn Smith had a fucking tournament.
Finn, yeah, I probably would have went with Finn Smith because he kind of took over a team.
He did, and he's young. It's impressive to do that.
Not saying like Russell wasn't bad. Like Russell, he was amazing.
Yeah,
in a lot of games. But Finn Smith really he captured a team. He captured a nation.
He did. He took their hearts. Yeah, Finn Smith became the main character of England.
He did.
Or Toje maybe though.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, they got dual captaincy vibes going on. But Finn Russell, I think a lot of people will disagree with that because in that England game, all he had to do was nail a couple easy kicks and they'd have won that game.
Yeah, but everyone has a couple bad kick games.
Exactly.
I'm not going to put that against someone who has a couple games.
Exactly.
We all know who he is. And then the other games, he
was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly the next thing I was going to say. Like, he redeemed himself if he even needed to redeem himself. He was fucking class in all the preceding games, right? Succeeding, sorry.
Okay, let's continue with your shitty list here.
Fuck you. On the 12... I went Bundiaki because he ruined Wales's party. And he tackled Capozzo to stop that try. He just saved Ireland a couple times. He just proved that when you bring that man onto the field, he's changing a game. He bleeds green.
He's good. I love him so much.
Yeah.
Another shout out was Manoncello. Tommaso Manoncello.
He was good. He was good. Yeah.
He
carries well.
That 12-13 that Italy has, that's
yeah.
And they're young. They're both like fucking like 21, 22,
they
or 23,
are.
something like that. Like,
they are. Yeah. But no, fuck you. I went with Aki.
And then what did you get for 13?
Then I went with Barassi for France.
Ooh,
yeah. Is it Moefana? He's also pretty good as well.
Moefana, I think, plays 12.
I think he played 13 a couple of games though. They switched. But anyway, yeah, you're not wrong. I thought I just had to recognize the French centers a bit, and I think Barassi was the one who stood out the most for me. Like, he's just, I think it's his, like, he doesn't look all that in terms of, physically, he could be bigger, but he defends incredibly well. And maybe you say, Sean Edwards has got the entire French team defending well. 13,
Hugh Jones?
Yeah, Hugh Jones was good.
Huey Jones?
Hugh Jones was missing Tuipulotu for me. He was really good, but Tuipulotu is like the battering ram, and then Hugh Jones just kind of like dances around from the offload.
He just scrapes up the...
Yeah, cleans up the bits. No, Barassi was better for me. Barassi was more dynamic. I actually shoved 2 fullbacks into wing and fullback because...
okay.
Because fuck you. I put Capozzo on the wing.
Which he played in the last game.
He did play in the last game. He does play in the wing, but he's, more often a fullback. He's.
I was going to say, if you don't put Capuzzo on there, you're Capuzzo.
Well, the team of the tournament. He wasn't on the team of the tournament.
Was he? Oh, wow.
No, he was not.
That guy's electric.
He's incredible. I'm actually surprised he doesn't get more recognition, because he is a game changer in that Italian team. Like, as much as Italy have improved, he's the guy who does stuff. He's the guy who really creates opportunities. That try against England was absolutely stunning. He just ran through a brick wall, danced around some guys. And had it not been for Aki's tap tackle on Capuzzo, I think Italy could have won that game, because there was no one else. And he danced around every other Irish guy who came in front of him. So,
and you got, obviously, you're going to put on the other wing, Louis Biel-Barry.
Yes, I put BL-Barry on the other wing, and then at fullback I put Hugo Keenan, because he's another one.
Not Blair Kinghorn.
No, and I like Blair Kinghorn, but he was electric. He was good. I just think Hugo Keenan is your classic fullback.
He gives you something that Blair Kinghorn doesn't.
Yeah, he's he's better under the high ball. And it might be as simple as that.
They're different and comparable. And I think if you're gonna have Blair Kinghorn on, or you're gonna have Hugo Keenan on,
it doesn't make much difference.
It just you got a really amazing player on.
You do. Hugo Keenan may not have as much X factor as Blair Kinghorn, but he reminds me of Lee Halfpenny. He is just reliable, you know, and I mean that. I don't mean that in a kind of mundane way. He won't miss tackles. He won't drop a high ball. He's like the goalkeeper, right? Mm-hmm. He's a goalkeeper that doesn't let goals in.
He even kind of looks like a soccer goalie.
He does.
He wears gloves.
He does.
So, we're talking about Hugo Keenan, right?
We are talking about Hugo Keenan.
Yeah. So he does.
He wears his fingerless Pokemon catching gloves.
Yeah.
For catching those sky Pokeballs. Yeah.
So I would.
That's my team.
That was wow.
Yeah, you like that?
That was a cute little team.
Do your next one. Do your next, you fucker.
Cute little team.
Cute little team.
I already kind of gave you my team. I kind of went with you.
You did.
You didn't put James Lowe.
Oh, he didn't play a lot.
James Lowe.
He missed the whole game.
Yeah, so.
He wasn't as good as he normally is.
I thought he was great.
He was great. He is a very good player. I just don't think he was as good as he normally is.
I thought he was amazing.
Yeah. Well, third place, stuck on
eggs. You can go a million ways with this.
You could. And to be honest, you should probably go a lot of French players, because they were just dominant, weren't they? They were incredible, Had they not kind of forgot to catch the ball against England, that would have been a grand slam.
Now, I think Andy Farrell, he's going to name this Lion squad in May.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's like May 8th.
I thought it was sooner than that.
Or April 8th?
Maybe. What's your point?
I swear it was in May.
Okay.
What do you think the makeup? I don't want you to name the players and stuff. I just want you to think of what do you think is the makeup of the team going to look like? Yeah,
I'll give you some thoughts about how the Six Nations has changed the Lions selection, and what he's going to be looking at. I think that Finn Russell is back in the picture big time. Maybe he'd fallen out a little bit. I think that whole Prendergast, Jack Crowley debate, I don't think it's settled, but I don't think Jack Crowley did himself any favors.
No.
And in a world of Sam Prendergast, Jack Crowley is getting forgotten about.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you're taking 10s, you're talking about Finn Russell, Finn Smith, Marcus Smith. They may not even take an Irish 10. They may not. Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised. I think Faletau might have fought himself into a potential backup midweek tour kind of spot, midweek game kind of spot.
Yeah, the only one from Wales I think is a guaranteed, who I think is guaranteed is Jack Morgan.
I think we've talked about this before, but I do want your opinion. Do you have to take a guy from every country?
Yes.
You do, don't you?
I think that should supersede talent.
Yeah.
Is that the right word?
Yeah.
So you should be making sure you have equal representation.
Not equal,
but
token.
You should have...
Token is the right word here.
Token, yeah. You should have representation from every nation.
You should, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you should have... The talent's there.
Yeah. A lot of it is just arguing finer points, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes. So it's not like there's not... In some position... In one of the teams, there is an equal or just as good player than another team, except for, one team, one nation might not have the 10 you're looking for, but they're going to have a flanker or a winger.
Like every single one of those countries has an exceptional backline, doesn't it?
Yeah,
back row.
Yeah, I think it's important to have representation, good representation.
Because otherwise, what's the point, right?
Yes.
What's the point?
Yes.
You may as well chalk one of those badges off that little
if you're
four-corner badge.
If you're going to choose a majority of one team, heavily, or leave one out, then just might as well just send England.
Yep.
To play that,
you could take Ireland, and in fact, the more guys you choose from the same country, you give yourself a better chance of winning. It ruins the flavor of the Lions because the idea of the Lions is we've had a few weeks together, we're just really good players. It's like barbarians with infrastructure, isn't it? And that's the beauty of it. It's like we know these guys are good, but can they gel in a short amount of time?
And it's the excitement of the crossover.
Yeah.
You know, in the TV shows back in the day, they would have a character from another show come on to another show, and you're like, whoa, like Steve Urkel's on Full House, right? Like that. Whoa, these two people are in the same team together.
Yeah.
Wow, like that spectacle, like that's part of the spectacle.
And it's a mental one as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like upstairs right now, my wife is playing Kingdom Hearts, where Winnie the Pooh fights Cloud from Final Fantasy. That's the Lions. The magic of the Lions is Winnie the Pooh and Cloud in the same team.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You want to. Yeah, I totally agree with that sentiment. I would like over. I'd rather have a bigger mishmash of players. Than picking the best possible.
I guess
players.
Another question then: what do you think about? Is there a minimum number
of how many players you take
from each country? Yeah.
I think you should have a minimum number.
I do too. I think it's 3.
Is it?
I think it is.
Yeah. I think you should have. Oh, that's a little low, but
I think they did that once when when we went to Australia last time. Gatland only took 3, I think, Scots. So it's happened.
So and you're gonna pick the players I think. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago when I made a statement that I think, Andy Farrell, right?
The coach of Ireland.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I lose my mind. I was trying to get the right Farrell. Was going to. I felt his picks were going to be completely left field and underwhelming. Right? Do you remember when I said that?
I remember you saying that.
I was like, I feel like we're everyone's expecting a certain product, and he's going to go completely left field.
Yeah.
So I saw online.
Yeah.
Someone picked a Lions team from some website, and I was just like, wow, this is exactly what I was talking about.
That's exactly what Andy Farrell's going to pick.
Yeah.
Let me add something onto that as well, because we in the people who talk about rugby but aren't experts field, i.e. all the fucking YouTube pundit people, right? And I kind of include even someone who really knows what they're talking about, like Squidge in this. They don't have access to analysts, and these analysts will tell you things that we're never going to imagine. They're going to tell you this guy actually has done 100 more tackles than this other guy that you were going to pick. This guy actually, look at the meters he's made, look at the contributions per minute.
Yes.
These are things we don't know about, right? So we just watch the last game and go, oh, Finn Russell's back, but actually there's probably some guy on a laptop whose full-time job it is to study this shit and knows a far lot more than we do, right?
Statistic crunching hard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, for example, I was hearing a lot of talk about how the Curry brothers totally made Jack Morgan look anonymous in that game. And they did, but you're comparing a team to a team, not a player to a player.
Yeah.
If Jack Morgan's in a good team, I bet you he's fucking dominating everyone he plays against.
For England that day,
exactly, that's my point, right?
Jack Morgan.
Exactly, that's my point. It's like a game doesn't make a player, and the statistics that go on behind the scenes don't actually reflect the score line or what even it looks like they're playing like sometimes, right?
So looking at this team here, I'll name it here. This came from
Where's this come from?
Sky Sports.
Okay.
So this is the team that's starting 15
right
that they think is going to happen.
Okay.
Number 1, Pierre Schumann.
Fair enough. I agree.
Hooker, Dan Sheehan.
Fair enough.
Number 3, Will Stewart.
Okay. Well, so far so good.
Okay. Maro Toji.
Yeah, makes sense.
And Ty Byrne at locks.
Makes sense.
Tom Curry at 6.
Yeah.
Ben Earl at 7.
Yeah.
Jack Conan at 8.
Okay.
Alex Mitchell at 9.
Okay.
Finn Smith at 10.
Okay.
James Lowe on the wing.
Yeah.
Tom Jordan.
Okay.
From Scotland at 12. Hugh Jones at 13.
Okay.
Tommy Freeman
on the wing.
And then Blair Kinghorn fullback.
Okay, the massive what the fuck is Alex Mitchell over Jamison Gibson Park, right? And there's a couple other what the fucks, but I wouldn't be. That feels very. Well, it feels like there's an English bias there for a start. What do you think? You have something to say about this?
Well, when I first saw it, it actually looked more crazier than when I read it the second time.
When you read it out, when you show it the light of day, it doesn't sound mental, does it? I just think you're missing some of the guys who we are like, that guy's a rock star, why isn't he in the team,
Yeah.
For example...
Because you would definitely...
Andrew Porter not being in there.
Well, they didn't say the bench. He could have been on the bench.
Right, but he's not starting is a bit...
Probably put... you know what? How good would it be to have Ellis Genge starting and then Porter coming off the bench?
That is
for the rest of the game, because he can do 80 minutes.
Yeah, he can.
He's got the tank.
Yeah, well, they both can, right? I reckon, yeah.
So, yeah. Pierre Schumann, I just don't think Pierre Schumann is he's a good prop.
Yeah.
But he's also... I don't think he's as good around the park.
I do. I think he carries really well. Maybe not the breakdown, but he carries really well.
As Ellis Genge and Andrew Porter. That's my thing. I think Pierre Schumann's good, but those two are, I would say they're better rugby players.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily say they're better at doing prop things like scrum, but
you've got to think about who you're playing as well, right? Because Australia are resurgent. And what they're good at is quick ball. You've got to slow them down. And that is a team that slows people down right there.
And I feel like when I see Will Stewart I feel like there's someone better that we're just not thinking of.
It wasn't a vintage year for props in the Six Nations.
Wait a second. How is he like the head front, tight head prop? Like where
I think because Tyg Furlong was your guy and he's kind of fallen off. Finlay Bealham was good, but not as good as Will Stewart. Wales just, Nicky Smith and Gareth Thomas are good, but when you had like Will Griff-John kind of flattering to deceive, we're not in a vintage year for props. This isn't a great time for props. There's a bit of a drought.
This is not a good time for props.
No.
Come on.
No, not coming.
What about Xander Ferguson? Yeah,
he's good. He's good, but he's the same deal, isn't it? It's like. They don't have the X factor that we're looking for, So it's just not a good year for props. What more can I say?
So yeah.
That's my thoughts on the Lions tour, though. I think that the dynamic has changed a little bit, but I do think Andy Farrell will pick what you might call sensible choices, not flavor of the month choices. Like picking Finn Smith at 10 is a gamble.
You think so?
I do, because he's still young. He's still got a lot to prove. If you start Finn Russell, you know what you get.
Yeah, you know what you get. You know he has the experience.
Yeah, and statistics will back that. I think
he's going to go with that.
Yeah, and you don't have to have him as your kicker if he's being.
I'm 100% thinking he's going to pick his son and he's going to play 10.
I would not be surprised. And actually, Owen Farrell just rejoined Racing this last week. So
it's he played yesterday.
Yeah.
But it's just I still think he's going to pick his son, and I think he should be able to.
Why not?
He should have a little like this is like it's not like
it's not a risk. It's Owen Farrell.
Yeah, pick it Owen. Yeah, remember this is Owen Farrell.
Yeah,
like this guy's got the resume.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Right?
It's only a World Cup finalist, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So it's just
There's a few guys that would be very interesting. Courtney Laws, Jack Willis. Am I getting the right Willis? I am.
yes.
And Owen Farrell. Like the three French-based English players.
And those guys could definitely be in the team.
I'd take Courtney Laws. I'd do for anything. I'd let him, you know.
What about Reece Kerr for Saracens?
Reece Carey? No, he hasn't got enough international experience. Because, you know, as much as I like him, you just don't know what he's going to be like at international level, do you? You just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, too much of an unknown. But yeah, that's kind of what I think about the Lions. Nothing mental. Australia, this is still a tour. I'm really happy to see Australia resurgent. And when we talk about Super Rugby, some of the results are encouraging. But I still don't think they're a bigger threat as South Africa or New Zealand.
No. And
you know?
fuck, Super Rugby has been fucking wild.
Been mental. You want to talk about that next?
I want to talk about the Tom Hooper suplex that I showed you earlier.
Yeah. Michael Hooper. No, it's
Tom Hooper.
Tom Hooper, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Hooper suplex.
Yeah, tell me.
That was like, when I showed you that was just a fucking yellow. And the ref, like, what? Ben O'Keefe, give a red.
Yeah.
Like, what's up with these refs, like, scared of getting reds?
I don't know what's going on there.
Like, that was, like, make a choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super Rugby was, like, so scared to ruin a game, to, like, discipline a player.
Yeah.
Like,
Game's
you could shoot someone.
Man. I'm saying.
No, he just pulled out a gun. I'm just going to see this hit. Okay, it looks like his finger just kind of grazed the trigger.
I don't think he knew the safety was off, so I'm just going to give a yellow.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to the
gonna put you in the bunker, mate. Yeah, that guy's dead, but you know it's a rugby incident, mate. Happens.
Make sure you keep your safety on next time. You got to bring that on the field. Like that's like how it fucking feels. Like I was like,
listen here, boys. We like a game of rugby with machetes, but let's just use them sparingly, okay?
it's exactly what it was like.
Yeah, sometimes I watch it and go, well, just like you said, what the fuck are you doing, guys? Like,
it is like, it's such a fucking, like, it looks like a disaster. Like when I watch, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, how is like this producing the best players in the world?
I
like,
know.
Holy
because
shit.
they just give her, don't they? They just give her.
They just fucking, it's in their blood to be good.
It is in their blood to be good.
It's just in the blood.
Yeah. Can we talk about Super Rugby?
Yeah, what do you want to talk about with Super Rugby?
I want to talk about how there are some fun results for the Australians.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not think that's interesting?
No, not really.
I'm going to tell you some results and you're going to tell me what you think, okay? So, Highlanders 23, Queensland Reds 29.
Yeah.
And remember the Reds a few years ago, well, maybe more than a few years ago, they were like the Super Rugby team from Australia, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
And I think my excitement here is coming from a resurgent Australia. Like, their teams are competing again. There's life in Australia. And because I'm Welsh and I want to see life return to Wales, it gives me hope, you know? I know they're a country with 3 professional sports that are like rugby and 2 are rugby, and they have a lot more people and a lot better economy in the lovely weather. But I got to believe that it's possible to come back, and Australia are coming back, you know? If their Super Rugby performances are reflective of that.
I got to see more. I think they're only in round 3 or 4.
Yeah.
We'll see when we get halfway through the season how it's shaping up with them.
Yeah, I still think a New Zealand team will win.
It's just not an exciting, like, Super Rugby is just not an exciting tournament for me.
Tell me why.
Because you just already know who's going to win. Like, Hurricanes going to win this year.
I think it's going to be
the Chiefs look pretty good. Like,
Chiefs look good, yeah.
It's just like that's.
Yeah, it's going to be a Kiwi
Crusaders,
team.
Beat the Blues, I think, this week. I can't remember, but yeah,
they
it's
did.
just like which New Zealand team is going to win the Super Rugby this year?
Yeah,
and that's what it is. Until it like changes, until you don't know who's going to win, who wants to watch that?
And even before that, it wasn't just which New Zealand team was going to win. It was just the Crusaders are going to win. And good for them, but like, it's not a level playing field, is it? It's not a level playing field.
And it was even like getting like that when the South African teams were still in there. It
was rare that they would win.
Which New Zealand team's going to win?
Yeah.
Because they had to change the rules. Like, Super Rugby is so poor. Like, the competition was so poor that they had to change the rules. So basically only one New Zealand team could make it to the final.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
So they've changed. I don't know how they
conference systemed it, didn't they?
They changed. Well, the knockout. They did the knockout stages in a way that it would make it that another team on it that wasn't from New Zealand would get to the final.
Yeah, you would send like 2 teams from each country,
so
wouldn't you?
you wouldn't even have the 2 best teams playing each other in the final.
Yeah, they'd already knocked each other out, hadn't they? One of them had knocked the other out.
So it's just so the final was actually like a last week at the semifinal in New Zealand.
But I'm going to stick up for the Kiwis a bit here, because what do you want? It's kind of like when Ireland were really good in the URC. It was like, what do you want us to do? Just be shit so the other shit teams can catch up? Like,
no, but
you've got to improve to the best, like.
Yeah, and I think the URC has done like a good job. Like those URC teams have done a good job to keep themselves pretty competitive.
But what have they done differently? Because I don't think they've done anything. I think they've put. I think these teams. I mean, adding 4 very good South African teams to spice things up. Scotland have been kind of smart with the resources, and Wales are just slowly getting better.
Yes,
but it's nothing. They've done nothing to change the structure of it.
No, they haven't. But they've been like the coaching for the teams has improved.
Yeah,
the player selection has improved. The player development below has improved for them.
Yeah.
So they're like all these teams are bringing in kids from below, and like these Australian teams are just not up to snuff with it.
No.
So it's kind of like, don't get me wrong, like a Super Rugby game is like fun to watch.
Yeah.
But like I don't want to watch a movie where I know the ending already.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
So it's just I feel bad for like if you're going to. I don't know what they can do. Like, I don't see any path where it's not just going to be which New Zealand team wins, but at least do something with league. Maybe expand the league more.
Yeah. Bring the Japanese in.
Bring the Japanese in.
Bring the Argentinians
bring in
back.
some other markets into the league. Like, make it more of a spectacle.
Yeah.
Just to whitewash the ending.
And do you know what? You can say that. Like, I feel a bit bad because you don't have to justify what you said, really. You can just say, I don't like watching it because I know it's going to win. You don't have to justify why or how or when, right?
Yeah.
It just could be that. And that's fine. Like, it could be the Australians are trying as hard as they can. The Kiwis aren't going to get any worse for Australians.
No.
Your competition just isn't as good because it's not competitive. Simple as that, right? You can just say that. You don't have to tell me.
Well, thank you.
No, I'm kind of with you. I'm just probing to see if there's something that could be done that 2 losers in Canada can figure out,
Yeah, I want to see more. I want to see more from the other teams, not just the New Zealand teams winning.
Tell you what it is, I feel like there's potential. I just feel like there's potential. I know New Zealand are always going to have good teams. I don't think Australia are necessarily that potential. I'm happy they're doing better. But I think a Fijian team which is competing is amazing. I think Moana Pacifica being like the Tongan Samoan exiles living in New Zealand is a really cool story. If you had a couple of Japanese teams and give them the resources to play, like half of South Africa, New Zealand's already playing there.
Yeah.
Like, why can't we just have them in Super Rugby,
Yeah, if it was up to me, I would just the top league there or League One, whatever the fuck it's
called. Just do 2 conferences, whatever.
Or just mix mash the 2.
Yeah. They probably have talked about this and it's probably expensive and impractical, but yeah, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. That whole Pacific corridor from north to south, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Tonga, Samoa, Fiji. That's what I want to see. Mm-hmm. And it feels natural because it's all kind of the same time zone. If South Africa proved that's doable from a time zone perspective, we know eventually it works because the URC now, this is the best year for the URC.
You also have like Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan.
Yeah.
There's some other big markets there that should have a professional rugby team there.
Hong Kong have always had a bit of a rugby thing going on.
Yeah.
It's possible. And you could base a team there if you wanted to, whatever, There's options, isn't there?
Yeah, especially Singapore also.
Yeah.
Lots of money there.
Lots of money, yeah.
Taiwan also too, a lot of money there.
Yeah. No, there's options.
Yeah, that's what I would do. But yeah, that's my thoughts.
Okay.
On the thing.
You want to talk about URC?
Let's talk about the URC.
The old Urk.
The old Urk.
The old Urkai.
What did you think about this weekend?
Oh, this is starting to feel like a competition I'm enjoying because here I was a year ago going, fuck off South Africans. I want to take a bus to Bristol to watch a game. I want local derbies. But the games are this year becoming the whole league has become very competitive, except the Dragons and maybe Ulster, because in that, I think it's between 4th and maybe 10th place. Like, anyone beats anyone, they jump ahead of them. It's crazy.
It's
It's
super
competitive. It is, and it's fun to watch. So I watched my game of the weekend. Maybe my game of the fucking year was Ospreys Connacht, because Ospreys were just destroying them. Like, they were probably maybe 20, 30 points clear at one point, and Connacht fought back, and they were just, when Connacht had the ball, they were exciting and scary.
This has been the story all year almost for Connacht.
Yeah, fight
just
backs.
not getting the job done.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of work and not finishing the job.
Really Ulstering it, eh? Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be fair, this felt very much like Wales, Scotland in the Six Nations. Like, Ospreys just took their foot off the gas. Like, they'd already won that game, but the way Connacht fought back was so exciting. And it came down to a really dodgy last-minute decision of held up over the line. So, oh no, it was a knock-on. But it was Connacht nearly scored right at the death there. It was just a hell of a game. I was just glued to my seat. And I'm not of all the Welsh regions, Ospreys are definitely my least favourite. Like, I just don't care. But I was really cheering for them there.
Like, come on, boys.
Come on, the Welsh lads. And then Cardiff beating the Lions. Like, I did not think Cardiff were going to beat the Lions, even though it's in Cardiff. Like, I just thought that's not going to happen. And it was a good win. It was a good win. And, like, Matt Sherritt's back.
A good, solid fight back.
Yeah.
Cardiff have been just getting better and better.
They have. And they should be with the guys they've got, right? Like, if they had a better bench and some heavier forwards, like, they'd be more competitive even. This season is so much better than last year already. I think they only won 4 games last year.
I think that you think that the Lions are like the weakest of the South African teams, but they're not a weak team.
They're not. You look at that squad, and that was a pretty good South African team they played, and they were unbeaten for the first 3 games. I know it's kind of dumb to say, but like you said, all those South African teams are good. I think Stormers, like you were saying about Scarlets, like Stormers just stormed.
Oh my God.
Scarlets looked fucking
defense
pathetic
in that game
Yeah.
was fucking atrocious.
It was bad, wasn't it? Yeah.
There were just guys that there were Scarlet players that just didn't want to tackle.
They just look like scared children sometimes, don't they? It's kind of embarrassing. Yeah.
Like literally moving out of the way.
Yeah.
I was like, you cannot be playing professional rugby and doing that.
No, I don't know what's going on. Yeah. And Johan Lloyd's just been signed by Cardiff, and I'm like, what have we done?
He was brutal.
He was crap. Yeah.
Yeah, and he looks scared.
Yeah, he does. And he looks small. He is kind of small.
He is kind of small. He's got a thicker frame.
Yeah.
But like he just looked like there were some like roll off tackles he made.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God.
Just
this
looked shell shocked.
Bad. Like you guys deserve to lose this game because
100%.
My biggest win of the weekend here was the Glasgow Warriors over Munster.
That was a good game.
Because the Warriors are fucking like over half their team was in the Six Nations.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they would have been lower. They would have been lower in resources than Munster.
Yes.
And to scrape out a win there, that's kind of embarrassing for Munster.
It was in Cork as well, wasn't it?
No, it was in Glasgow.
Oh, it was? Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it was it wasn't Glasgow, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Scotsman Stadium. Yeah. So it just that for me was a big win.
Munster haven't been all that this season though. They've climbed up back the league a bit, but Glasgow are the champions. And if you are a champion, you know how to win these games.
And man, George Horn, he is so underrated.
Yeah, he is.
In fact, I'm sad he wasn't playing like in the Six Nations.
Yeah.
Because that was like, what a missed opportunity.
Although, is it good news for Glasgow that they get to keep a really good player in the hangover of the Six Nations?
He's just so underrated. Like, he is so good.
Yeah.
I just was so surprised he wasn't in the squad. Like, he's not even, like, he wasn't even in the teams.
Yeah. I
was like, what's going on? Like,
does Scotland have depth?
Every time you watch a Glasgow Warriors game and he's playing, he's all over the highlight reel.
Yeah.
Every game.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys like that, though, who look incredible at club level and then don't quite make the step up. But, it was a good win for Glasgow.
A game you were excited for, the Leinster. Leinster boys losing to the Sharks. I mean, losing to
the Bulls.
Losing to the Bulls.
In the very last of minutes as well. In the very last of minutes.
Which is, you know what? This team was not the strongest Leinster team, to go down to South Africa.
Really.
And play.
They've only got a World Cup. They've only got 2 World Cup winners in that team.
I don't care. 2 players aren't going to make the fucking game.
I didn't think the rest of the team was that bad.
And this was like a very B team.
Yeah.
This was embarrassing for the Bulls. They should have won this game more. Like
I think you underestimate in momentum. You know, this is Leinster's
what momentum.
Leinster winning every single game this season. That's pretty good momentum.
Like, this is a whole like the majority of the team was.
Oh, I knew you were going to say this. I didn't want to get dragged down into a Leinster season debate.
You shouldn't have been happy about the loss.
I'm kind of not happy.
You gotta look at the picture of what's going on here. Like this is like that was like when I saw that I was like, this is kind of concerning for the Bulls. They're at home.
Yeah.
They should have put this game away.
Mm.
Because when I saw that team, I was expecting Leinster to take their first loss.
You were?
Yes. When I saw the team this week, when I was going through the teams, like what the teams look like, I was like, Leinster should lose this game. Right? They've won every game, and I kind of laughed. I was like, because the PM at my job, he's Irish guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a big Munster fan.
Yeah.
He hates Leinster.
Yeah, good man.
And we were looking at the team, and I was talking to him about it. He's like, "Oh, they're gonna get their fucking ass kicked." He's like, "I might actually watch this game."
Yeah.
And then, so I was expecting them to lose. And when I saw the outcome of the game, because I only watched the highlights and that, I was like, "Holy shit!" Like this was not the outcome.
No,
I was expecting.
I was expecting a Leinster win, to be honest.
Oh, I was not at all.
No.
I don't think anyone was.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't think? Oh, okay.
I don't think 2 players make a team.
They don't. There was 3. They had Slimani.
Yeah, I don't think Slimani is like the like he is the bench warmer. Like he's the guy that they hired to be in place.
He's not some guy though.
Like
RG Snyman is not some guy.
RG Snyman is not some guy.
No,
but he's not like only 2 guys like him and
Scott Barrett. Geordie Barrett is not some guy.
Yeah, those 2 are not like they're just 2 players.
And then you're acting like the remaining 12 players are nobodies.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. This is the richest.
These guys are up and comers. These
club
guys
in the URC,
taking spots when someone's injured.
Yeah.
Like this is not a cohesive team.
I don't know. I totally
because
disagree.
if the full strength Leinster would have went there, they would have absolutely fucking destroyed the Bulls.
You think so?
Yes.
But this is exactly what happens.
If their full team was there, all their players there.
Yeah.
You got Jack Conan. You got Kalen Doris.
Yeah.
You got James Ryan.
Jameson
Joel
Gibson
McCarthy.
Parkson.
Yeah.
Jameson Lewison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got
I'll tell you
Sam
something
Prendergast at 10. Like they would have fucking.
I like how you snuck that in there.
Yeah. They would have fucking annihilated the Bulls.
I'm going to tell you something else though. This is exactly how it's gone. This is a tale as old as time. Leinster go all season looking like no one's going to touch them. They have a Six Nations hangover, send out a few, in heavy quotation marks, C teams, lose a few games, lose some confidence, and choke.
Well, this game was not. This game's an exception.
Why?
Because half their team is at the beach right now on vacation.
What I'm saying though is
the majority of their team is on vacation.
I agree with that, but what I'm saying is that this happens every year. This exact same thing happens every year.
This is not.
And they
the same
hired
as last year.
Snyman, Barrett, and Slimani so that this wouldn't happen again.
Yeah.
That they would have a perfect season.
And they almost won the game.
But they didn't. And that's important.
Yeah.
They
almost won that game.
They didn't.
They
though.
shouldn't have won that game.
They didn't. They lost though.
Yeah.
They in fact lost that game. You know.
Yeah. They shouldn't. Like they shouldn't have. They went down there. They shouldn't have won.
My point is, if your entire A team has to be away at vital parts of the season,
that's going to hurt any team.
But you're doing something wrong, right?
What do you mean?
If your entire first team is also the Irish first team, then in moments of necessity of winning the league, you're going to come up short, which they have done.
Yes, but I think that the management, I think Niabar is not. I think there's some lessons learned.
I don't.
Well,
as evidenced by this game.
Because what were they supposed to do?
Play less Leinster guys in the Irish national team.
How is that Niabar's fault? How is that Leinster's fault?
It's not. It's just happening again. It's not his fault.
He
tried to fix the problem by bringing in the best players he could afford, and these are pretty fucking good players.
Yes.
And even they couldn't stop the classic Leinster choke, you know?
Yeah, so it's going to be, going forward, I don't see Leinster losing another game.
Fair enough.
And I don't see them putting out a B team, A team any longer. They might do it at the end of the season when they really don't have to.
Yeah. But that's what they did last time and it backfired.
Yeah. But when it comes to knockout stages, you're going to see, I think there's some lessons learned there.
I'm excited for the next European round because...
And look at these guys that are filling up the empty slots there are pretty good too.
No, they don't.
They went to going to South Africa and getting a win down there is hard. It's really hard.
Not for the Ospreys, but yeah, generally.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah.
I don't know. I think we might be agreeing here. I'm not even sure, but I still think Leinster will make the URC final and the Champions Cup final.
I think so too. Will they win that?
That's the question. That's the history repeating itself, which I'm worried
for. I don't know,
for.
because when it comes to knockout stages, anyone's game.
Yeah, it is.
I really honestly, even in the URC, even no matter how good Leinster are, when it comes to the knockout stages, like any kind of team. Because
let's be real, Glasgow did surprise us a bit last year. As good as they were all season, beating the Bulls and beating Leinster. Did they beat Leinster or Munster? I can't remember to get to the final.
Yeah.
But both of those games, I kind of wrote them off. I love writing off Glasgow, by the way, so maybe it's not fair. But it was kind of against the run of play a bit.
Yeah, sorry. I know you wanted me to be like, yeah, Leinster are fucked.
No. I don't think they're fucked.
I
don't think they're fucked. I just think like you can't call that a B team. That's my point. You can't call that a B team when it's got those guys in it.
It's definitely a B team.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I haven't convinced you.
I don't think there's a person that like only a bitter Leinster. Someone hates Leinster would say that's not.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can't bait me like that.
If I go to Wales, I'll be like, yeah, that's an A team. That's an A plus team.
I don't think most people in Wales could name a Leinster team. I think they're far more concerned with what.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I'm more a Munster guy in this situation, you know? Imagine me in a Munster skin or a Connacht skin. I'm an Irish skinwalker today.
What else is surprising about this weekend here too?
If we stay in the URC for a minute, Benetton still good. Zebra nearly winning.
I still think that Edinburgh missing a bunch of players from the Six Nations, like Edinburgh and Glasgow. Like I was expecting both those teams to lose this weekend.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
There was actually a kind of a nasty moment in the Edinburgh game, though. There was Tuipulotu's brother, I forget his name, pretty nasty fucking...
Oh, yes.
It was nasty. Mm-hmm. It was real nasty. So that... I don't think it lost them the game, but it really didn't help. So this Benetton Edinburgh game, this, both missing a bunch of players. Yeah.
So this was actually a pretty good game to
It watch. It was relatively equal in terms of
because you get to
lineup.
see the depths of the players, of the teams.
Yeah.
So that was good. Good on Benetton.
I mean, Benetton are good now. You know.
But Zebra was probably a big team of the weekend. They almost took one home against the Sharks.
They did. It was very close. Yeah, it was very close.
Like that must have been.
They do seem to be turning it around over there, don't they?
I think it's because since they're folding, they want to give it all they got.
Yeah, it's not a terrible squad, you know.
No,
it's not the worst squad. So yeah, whatever. I don't know what to say.
But this is a team that's missing players too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And for them to go down there in South Africa on a tour to South Africa and almost put one away on the Sharks. And what's going on?
USC is just good now. It's just because even the Dragons, right? Even though they're shit, they give you a game. Give you a game. And their attack against Ulster was very good. I watched most of that game.
You know what I love about this too is like when the South African teams came in, a lot of people were upset. It was like, well, this and South African fans were just going to whip these guys.
Yeah, I was scared of that. I was.
And a lot of fans up north were like, well, it's just going to be a fucking South Africa team winning it every year.
Yeah.
Like this is going to be a shit. And you know, this has proven like no, like the boys can hang with these boys.
The boys can
south.
hang. Not just can hang.
Yeah.
They can do more than that.
Yeah, they all got into the showers, and their dicks are pretty similar sizes.
Yeah, everyone was surprised.
All the bushes are, nothing too crazy.
No one had to shave to make it bigger.
No,
they were fine.
Yeah, it was surprising, which is
We're
good.
all just people after all, eh?
It just shows too. And over the years, I think that first season was a little bit lopsided, and
it was.
But it just shows the benefits having the South African teams in the USA. It's kind of a cheat. It's kind of a cheat code.
I'm kind of convinced. I hate to say it. I'm convinced because I still maintain some of the things I said. I think they're still true. I hate that you're never going to have a strong away presence at these South African games because how many thousands of people can afford that flight and vice versa.
Yeah.
But the quality of competition is now officially the best league instead of ironically being the best league like it was last year. Because last year the Gallagher Prem was my favorite league. This year, definitely the USC.
Like the top 14 has the best players.
The top 14 is becoming a bit like the Spanish Premier League in soccer. It's like it's going to be one of two teams who win it.
Yeah.
It's becoming like Super Rugby. Like I know Toulouse or Bordeaux right now are going to win it. You know, it's not that exciting in that respect. It's cool to watch, but I want competition, and I'm getting that from the USC.
That's the thing too. Like when we were talking about the Champions Cup, Leinster just making it through.
Yeah.
I don't see Leinster beating Bordeaux or Toulouse.
I don't either. It will look a lot like actually the France-Ireland game because they have that much power and flair in those French teams.
Yeah, I just think there's a lot. The Leinster team is really good. They do have the squad. I just feel like there's just something they're not able to. It's like an Irish thing.
It is.
The Irish curse. When it comes to the big stage, they just fucking crumble.
They do a little. It's not even a crumble, is it? It's so close and so. You know, it's painfully close because it's not a collapse. It's just falling short of the last hurdle, isn't it?
Yeah, when it comes to really like, hey guys, this is the game we need to fucking win here, and now we're on easy street. They're like, okay, loss, lose. And I was like, fuck.
As much as Wales are shite, and we can't even imagine the heights that Leinster and Ireland get to, I'm happier that Wales, with what we had, achieved our potential. I felt like last year, the year before, with what Ireland had, and even the last World Cup, I thought you could have done it, you know? You could have done it. And that hurts, I think, if I was a Leinster fan. That's where they get my sympathy because they're not far off. They're really, really fucking close to getting to a World Cup final and winning a World Cup or winning a Champions Cup, you know? Well, you know, Leinster have done that plenty of times before anyway, so it's not like it's impossible.
Yeah, it's just, no. Do you want to talk about the Prem?
A little bit. You want to
go over the Prem? Anything highlights you want to talk about the Prem there?
I think I'm surprised by Northampton being shit. Aren't you?
No.
Oh.
I'm not.
Leicester nilled them. And Leicester have had their problems this season. No, they're in the top 4.
There's been some nil-ins in the Prem.
Yeah, and it was fun last year because it was competitive.
Didn't Leicester get nilled not too long ago?
I think they did, yeah. They did. It was this season, because under Checker they've been hot and cold.
I think they got nilled while something happened. Yeah.
I'm happy. I love Bristol. I'm a big Bristol fan. Love seeing them getting up there. Love me some Pat Lam. Rumours that he's being courted for the Wales manager job as well, coach job.
I would like to see him as a director, maybe.
Oh, that's something I'm going to tell you about after we finish talking about the Prem. I got some worries, but I'm going to keep it brief.
Okay.
Other things in the Prem. No, that's all I got.
Well, let's get into that. Let's get into this last segment here.
Okay, so I heard there's a short list for the director of rugby for Wales.
The rumors.
I think, no, it was an official shortlist.
Oh, an official shortlist.
Well, actually, that doesn't make sense. There's no such thing as an official shortlist. But Rob Howley's on there, and I'm thinking, what the fuck are we doing? Why is Rob Howley allowed in the building?
Does he have in the mix?
Why does he have like voodoo dolls of the fucking board or something? And he's just stabbing him with needles, going, "Give me a job." Like, we've already fired him once. You've seen he's an ineffective.
Who is he related to?
Good question. Good fucking question. Yeah, how is he still sniffing around?
There's no way.
Do you know who else is on there?
If you're going to say Kingsley Jones.
I'm going to say Kingsley Jones.
No,
I'm going to say Kingsley Jones.
Oh my fucking God.
Yeah, Kingsley fucking Jones.
There's no way.
Yeah, Kingsley fucking Jones is on that list.
How do you take coaches from a losing culture and try to make a winning culture?
You don't. Especially guys who aren't even at the cutting edge of rugby narratives right now.
Oh my
these guys are clearly not even innovative. If they were
should have started the podcast with this.
I know. Look how much you've woken up. You've been sat there listening to me talk about rugby, and now you're like, oh my God, drama.
Yeah, because I wasn't too excited about the URC games. There was a lot of players missing, so I was like,
I'm
not
joking.
on the line.
Okay,
I'm getting
Steve.
pumped up for the
Steve.
Champions Cup games next week. But like, holy shit.
Yeah.
No,
I don't think that'll happen, but it's just embarrassing that they're even considered.
How are they even in the conversation?
Good fucking questions.
That's
Good
insane.
Question. Yeah. The other thing,
that's crazy.
It is fucking crazy. It is crazy.
That's fucking crazy. Like, what the fuck?
I know. What the fuck?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then Abby Tierney, the CEO, I liked what she said the other day. A lot of people aren't liking her already, but she has a lot of time in the job. She said a lot of sensible things. She wants to keep 4 regions. I think that's right. She's going to increase funding for the regions slowly. They are going to talk about bringing the academy back. We've got to stop bleeding players to England. When the Wales under-20s beat the England under-20s, not only did it feel miraculous, 2 of the English players were Welsh under-18s players, born and raised in Wales. We're bleeding players to fucking England.
Which I think is such a fucking...
It's depressing.
It's such a...
So depressing.
Like, what's the word I'm looking when you are a traitor? It's so...
Yeah, it's traitorous, isn't it?
It's traitorous. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? Like, these guys are they're in the under 18s to the under 20s. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. How does that happen?
Right. Good question. No, I totally. And the thing is, they can offer these kids opportunity, better study, private education, early professional rugby contracts. We can't offer that. It sucks and it's hard. But what just hurts me though is they talk about it in this very corporate way. I just think England was the right choice. If your choice isn't Wales every day, all day, forever, fuck off. We don't want you. And I don't want to make that a personal thing because these young kids and they, making the right decisions and all that other bollocks. But at the end of the day, if you're not proud to pull on your own country's fucking jersey, get fucked,
I can see Premier teams picking and signing under 18 players from Wales. That's fine.
Yeah, like Tommy Raffel.
When you're a nation that's got 60 million, how many people are in England?
60 million.
60 million people in London, in England. Sorry, in England.
Yeah.
And you got Wales, 3 million?
Yeah.
4 million?
3
million?
Yeah.
There is no excuse that you should be picking Welsh-born players.
No.
There should be a rule. You have how much percent more players to pick from? Pick your own players. Yeah. I can see a Welsh team picking someone that has Welsh heritage.
And we do that a lot from England, right?
England.
But it makes sense, right?
But
they're a massive neighbor.
And they're huge. You have the pick of the crop. It's just so it's like me.
It's like predatory. It's like grooming, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like me walking out, finding a homeless guy that finally got a meal and then taking his French fries from his meal. I'm going to take some of these.
Yeah, because I'm hungry.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I know.
Go buy your own fries. You have all this money. I'm like, but you got fries right now.
Yeah.
Just.
I'm glad you're on my side of this because it hurts and I don't know how to express it sometimes because I don't want to sound xenophobic or anything, but I'm just fuck off England, Fuck off. We haven't got a lot. We're poor. We're sad. Leave us alone,
Yeah, it's predatory. It's predatory.
Yeah. And they would come back with exactly what you said, but you guys poach from England. It's well, of course we do.
Look at the fucking size difference.
Look at the population difference, the economic difference, right?
There's no excuse for the English to be taking any players born outside of England.
And that's exactly, it's an indictment of the English system. Why can't you find your own guys? You've got a massive system with a lot of resources. Why are you poaching 2 guys in your under-20s team from Wales? It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Now I can see if a player from Wales goes and starts playing in the Prem, wants to play for England. Sure.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's kind of Feywa Boso what's going on, I think.
Yeah.
As much as I still think fuck him.
Just the opportunity's there, the money's there. Okay, that's.
But if you're born and raised in Wales and you truly are Welsh at heart, you don't ever consider wearing an England jersey, right? It's just not.
No, I'm not going to say it's totally I know the contract things okay, we're going to sign you, but you have to commit to England. That's fucking gross. It's disgusting. But on the other hand, too, the Welsh rugby, the Welsh Rugby Union has to do something to attract the players back, right?
Yeah.
So it's just there's just no excuse for a country where rugby is the number one sport for them to be so poor.
Yeah.
Especially when smaller nations like Italy and Scotland, they should be where Wales are.
Yeah.
Not the other way around.
No, that's true.
Right?
Yeah. And they were for the longest time, right? They were. It's only a recent thing. But yeah, I agree with you.
So it's just
we have failed. We have failed.
I'm still Rob Halley and Kingsley Jones.
It's mental, isn't it? Because as much as
the fact that they were brought up.
Yeah, it's disgusting, isn't it? And you're right, because I could blame England for our woes, and maybe they're accountable for 5% of poaching youngsters. But the WRU, you can't say this enough, have shit the bed spectacularly. They're tone deaf. They made a million mistakes. And we're only now starting to tidy up 10, 15 years of bad management.
The fact you have to say, hey, we're going to work on getting our academies back.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened to them?
Well, actually, what I heard is when we left the European Union, there was a European fund to encourage sport, and that's what funded the Welsh Academy. So on one hand, you could say, thanks again, Brexit. On the other hand, you could say, why were we reliant on EU funding to fund our own national sports, national academy?
Right.
That seems short-sighted.
Oh, that sucks. I guess.
Yeah, let's go
fucked.
buy a hotel. Like, what the fuck? But so, there's problems here and there, and money's always going to be difficult, but we are the architect of our own downfall, totally.
Yeah, it's just, they were just like trying, like, I think it's the people like that are in those positions are thinking about the here and now.
Well, okay, so I'm going to tell you a story about this, right? So they bought a hotel and everyone criticized them, right? And they said, we need to invest in things for the future so we've got an income. That hotel is now making a profit, a significant profit. It wasn't a bad idea, right? It just looks bad when you're not focusing on the rugby. Mm-hmm. But if you look back, we were good at rugby. Yeah, people are like, we were papering over the cracks. But if winning several Six Nations championships is papering over the cracks, that's success, actually, right? Like, that's not papering over anything. You're just winning. Yeah, the region sucked, but they're private businesses. The WIU helps them, but it's their problem to win, not the WIU. The WIU were doing their job. They were winning back-to-back Six Nations titles, and people are going, we're papering over the cracks. Looks like we're winning, actually. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes when people criticize the WIU, I do go like, we had a pretty good run there. Yeah, we mismanaged some things, and yeah, we're kind of reaping the rewards of that. But we do kind of have a shitty crop of players.
Yeah, not focusing on the future was a big misstep.
And I think what they've done is they've focused on the financial future rather than the rugby future too much. And I think in 10 years' time, we will still be a profitable union, but we're going to take 10 years to get back to being a good rugby playing union.
Now you have a whole crop of players you need to like.
Exactly. So another thing, the thing I'm going to finish on is people were bringing up the old, relegate Wales, bring in Georgia bollocks, right? I don't want to get into it too much. But I think I heard, was it Tim on Egg Chasers? He was saying he wants to do that and he would say the same thing if it was England. So he's trying to say it's not just because Wales are shit right now. I would say that regardless. And a part of me agrees with that, but a part of me also thinks like England are never going to be in that situation. England,
it's easy for someone to say that.
Exactly. If I'm England, there's no danger of that ever happening. Like, look at the resources you've got. There's not a fucking chance you lose 2 Six Nations back to back, right?
That was such a fucking.
So it sounds tone deaf. It sounds privileged, right?
Such a tone deaf fucking statement.
You want to kick your old friend in the teeth because Georgia look fun. Yeah, good idea, mate. Yeah, like fuck you. We'll remember this. Do you know what I mean? You are never going to be in that situation. So it's easy to say, right? It's easy to say.
It's like the kid that grew up rich and then starts.
Why don't you just get a better job?
Yeah, why don't you just work harder?
Yeah, why don't you just buy a better car?
If you work harder, you'd be more... Fuck off.
You don't get it, right? Like,
so fucking tone
It's a struggle down here, mate. It's a struggle down here, and you want to kick us when we're down? Like, fuck off. I understand Georgia want to promote their game and stuff, and they've got this English guy, Richard Cockrell, who is doing everything he can to promote Georgia, but... don't come for your old friends, right? Like, there's other ways to do this,
Especially after just 2 seasons.
Seriously.
2 bad Six Nations. Yeah, you guys should get the fuck out.
Yeah, and I'd say this any times. Like, would you, though? Like, I don't think so.
No, you wouldn't. Like, because if England was caught up, they'd be like, oh, this fucks.
Yeah, there's something wrong with the system. We need to change the rules. Like,
I guaranteed 110% that the tones would change.
Yeah, but the point is that would never happen, would it?
So easy.
They're just not in the same position. They never will be.
Did he say this in a YouTube video?
He did, yeah.
Oh, I gotta go watch that. I gotta go look at the comments.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. They're pretty mixed.
Yeah, man, we support you. That's a great idea.
But it goes. The other thing I've got to say is, whatever you think about that debate, it's just not going to happen. The Six Nations never was and never will be meritocratic. It's a festival. It's a carnival of rugby, and we love it, right? If you get excited and you go, it's Sixmas Eve, like, you love it because it's the same old guys having rivalries, going to each other's countries and having a party. This is a rugby festival. This is the Glastonbury Festival. This is the Coachella of rugby. And you want to get rid of the main stage,
I would love for Georgia to be part of the Six Nations, but there's just no room.
There's no room. There's no room in the international calendar.
No,
right?
there just isn't. Like, I would love it. I personally love it. But, what? Like,
that's why we're bringing
Spain,
in
Germany, Portugal, Georgia.
Yeah.
Like, these guys have an opportunity. The Netherlands, these guys have an opportunity to, like, build something too.
They do. And they are getting better, right? And they've got the best team in their kind of bracket that they could dream of playing of. Spain gave Georgia a bit of a game the other day, actually, in the final. But yeah, it's not going to happen. And we've got the Cape World Cup of Nations coming up. That's what this is for.
Yeah.
That's what this is actually for. Yeah. Leave the Six Nations alone. It's just a once-a-year fun thing. We'll make another competition. In fact, we're doing it. What the Autumn Nations is that time. That's where you have your little playoffs and relegations and battles for who's good and who's not, you know?
Well, Frank,
I
think we talked about everything we were going to talk about.
Probably, yeah.
Friends, thank you for listening. Like and share the podcast. You can email us at thefriendsofrugbypod@gmail.com.
Yes.
Any exiting words for the people?
Go away, Georgia.
Have a good one, friends.